What is up, y'all? It's a rainy, gloomy afternoon here. So, got to run home first, take care of a couple errands and do a couple things, and then a little later on we're going to be doing some maintenance, some routine maintenance on the mowers. Got to do a break-in oil change for the 590 and a 100-hour service on my Z-Track on the 920. So we'll try to get some footage of that and show you what we do, maybe a little explanation of how I do my maintenance. And so stay tuned and we'll get you some video of that. We'll be back. Alright, y'all, real quick, we're going to do our maintenance on the 920 and the 590. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we're going to do, what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to do this based on the number of hours that's on the machine. So we're going to go through that and see what we're going to do and try to get a little bit of actual footage live, but if not, then we'll get some finished footage with everything changed out and let you know everything one more time, what we did, do a little review. So here we go. So here's the 920, got it pulled in there. I actually just changed the blades on it, so I put a fresh set of blades on it, jacked it up with, we got a Mojack here. So jacked it up, put a new set of blades on it, so I got that done. It's supposed to be dried out tomorrow. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna change the oil. So here's our oil filter right here, and right here you have a little 10mm plastic hex plug. It threads in, and then this tube actually runs out. I don't know if you can see it under here. Trying to get it where it comes out. Can't really see it, but tube comes out. We got our drain pan under, and so loosen the screw. It lets the oil drain out. Then you can take the filter off. And one thing I found is if you take the cap here and break it loose and actually let it kind of sit out or take it out, it actually releases. I think it has a little bit of a vacuum on it when that's sealed for some odd reason. So if you loosen that up there, it'll actually allow the oil to flow faster out of the tube coming out the bottom. So we're going to do that. We're actually going to change our canister air filter here. Put that up there. So it's got an inner and outer. The inner one is usually pretty clean, but we'll take a look at it. But I've got the outer one to change right there, and I've also got the fuel filter to change. So we've got an inline fuel filter here that we will change out and replace, and also a spark plug. There's one on the other side, but right here we're going to change both of the spark plugs. And what we're using is a NGK BPR 4ES is the part number. I use these. I've been using these plugs ever since I've used it. Never had any issues with it. We're going to be using the John Deere brand, the Turf Guard 10W30. I've also run this in these mowers ever since I've had it. And the John Deere oil filter. So I think I'm going to actually look into possibly changing over to a Fram, getting that crossed over, but right now that's what we're going with. So we're going to do that. This mower has, if you can see, 908.2. So this is a 100-hour maintenance for me. Some may say it's a little overkill, but what I do is change my engine oil every 50 hours. And then every other oil change, which is every 100 hours, I will change out the air filter, spark plugs, and fuel filter. So that's my typical maintenance schedule as far as the engine goes with the oil and filters. And so that's what we're going to be doing on that. And then here is the X590. So this is a break-in oil change on this mower. And what we'll do is, it's a little late. I think I was wanting to do it at about 10 hours, but we have 12.2, so not too far over. And what we've got here, everything is right here. We have an oil drain valve here, so we'll twist this out. It's the exact same oil filter. And then here's our filler neck, so we've got everything right here together. Maybe a little aggravating to get past this shield here, but I think if we slide the filter in there first and then put the wrench on it, we can get it out. So that's that. Not going to change the air filter yet. Probably do that around 100 hours. I might take it out and blow it out just to make sure, because as you can see, it's a little dusty here. Down there in the south, it's nice pollen and dust from the sand. So, and this is also going to use the Turf Guard 10W30. So it's a 2-quart oil change for both engines. This is a Kawasaki FX730, it's 23.5 horse, and this is a, I think this is a Briggs, possibly. This is the, or maybe it's just the John Deere engine. They're running their own engine, but as you can see, it's a 25.5 horse. And if you watch my review, my initial review video on this, you know that it's EFI. So that's what we're working with today. And I'll try to get some footage of some stuff being changed, possibly. We're going to start over here with the 590. And what I'm going to do first is I got my little Harbor Freight tools here, Pittsburgh 1/4 inch drive ratchet. This has been a great little wrench for me. So we got to find our 10mm here. It's this one here. And we'll put our extension onto the ratchet there. Make sure that we're turning the right way, and then we'll just slip it on there, break it loose. And once you break it loose, you turn it a few times, and then you can actually just hand turn it there. It's a little tighter than I thought, so we'll keep it on. It might have a little pressure on that, but we'll turn it there and back it out. And you can speed it up by taking this plug all the way out, but it tends to kind of fill up around this area here, so you got to be careful to maybe pack you some paper towels or some shop towels or something in here, because the oil will back up and run out this other hole here sometimes, with where because it drains out right on that edge right there. So be careful with that if you do pull the plug. That way, make sure that it drains completely out. So you can see there that it's draining pretty good steady stream. So we'll let that drain. I'm gonna go ahead and pull our plug wires off of here. Hit the spark plug here, and there's the other wire right there. We'll pull those out of the way, and got to go over here and get plug wrenches out of the truck, and we'll be right back. Alright, real quick, as you can see, we got our old spark plug and our new spark plug. So we've already got this side out, so I just want to show you real quick what we're taking out, what we're putting in. And as you can see here, we've got the old and new air filters, so we're going to put this one in. And then real quick, here's our new inline fuel filter, so we're going to get that replaced, and we'll do a quick little shot maybe of everything put back in when we get done, and then move on to the 590. So, and then we're fixing to, I'm going to take the filter off here in just a second. This can be a little aggravating to get to if you don't have the right size, maybe on the cup style wrench like this here. So we're going to see if that won't work. I had to use the strap wrench, so but sometimes that tends to squeeze on the filter a little bit. If you get a little too tight, and it can mess up these grooves, and then it won't allow the cup filter to work. So that's what we're doing. We'll get some footage here with the plugs changed out, the air filter changed out, and the fuel filter changed out, and then we'll move on to the 590. So, and do the same thing there with the oil change is all we're doing on it. So we'll be back. Alright y'all, real quick, as you can see, new air filter, new fuel filter, spark plugs have been changed, and we have our new oil filter on there. Be sure to don't go too much beyond hand tight on these, because you'll have to use a strap wrench here to get them off, and if you do, it tends to buckle the filter. And don't put them on with this either. I'd say hand tight, because if you over tighten them, then this cup wrench here will not fit, because it will wrinkle in the sides and it will just spin in the cup filter. So, but a couple of real quick things to have to use will be your spark plug socket, which is the bigger one. I think this is a 13/16, I believe, right there. 13/16. Yep. So that's the larger of the two. Comes in my wrench set. 3/8 drive ratchet, an extension. The 1/4 inch drive ratchet with an extension, and 10mm socket. Now this mainly pertains to the 920M from John Deere. So if you have a similar setup with this area here, you can use the same tools. A small pair of needle nose for the clips, the fuel line clips here, one on each side of your fuel filter. So that's the basic tools that you'll need for this type setup. You may need for yours. So real quick, we're going to do the oil change here in the 590, but learn the lesson here. We made a homemade catch pan here out of an old milk carton. Small mistake, we did not cut this quite short enough to slide under the frame rail here. Tried to wedge it under, but while it was draining, I was doing a couple things here, and apparently it pushed back out from under the frame rail and ran down the side here of the jug. So I've got a little bit of oil that's wound up on the deck, and a nice, as you can see, puddle here. So big bummer on that one. First time changing oil on this one. So lesson learned. Make sure you got some kind of catch pan that will easily fit up under, and I've actually got the deck lowered too. So just cut it a little too tall. We'll know next time. We're gonna get the filter changed out. We've already drained it. You simply screw this plug out. It is an actual oil plug, and again, when you turn and loosen this cap, it does speed the flow up, draining out. So we're going to use the same oil filter real quick. If you use the John Deere filter, it is an AM125. Get it to focus here. Where'd it go? It's not wanting to focus on me. There it is. AM125424. So sorry for the iffy camera work, and using it with my cell phone still. I'm still working on getting my action camera, but it is what it is. So we're going to change the oil filter, put the oil back in it, take the air filter out, check it, make sure if it need to blow it out a little bit, just kind of lightly blow it out. If you're blowing those out with like an air nozzle, just be sure you don't put too much air behind it and blow a hole in your air filter, and then you'll be sucking particles into your engine, and we all know that's not good. So that's what it is, and then we'll clean up our little mess here, and we'll be done. So one real quick thing, y'all. I did not show this on the 920, but if you can see the O-ring here shining a little bit. One thing I always do, and I think a lot of people do, but make sure it's just kind of a little extra insurance, if you want to call it that, is just take you a little dab of your residual oil when it comes out, and dab it on your finger and rub it around this O-ring here. Just take your finger and kind of dip it in the oil that runs out, or dip it in your oil pan and just run it around here, and put a little bit of moistening up in there, and I think it just helps it make a better seal to be sure that it doesn't leak when you tighten it up. So just one little thing to add in there, and we're gonna wrap this stuff up and show you everything, and that'll be that. Thanks, y'all. We'll be back. That's our general maintenance overview on these. It's a break-in oil change on the 590 and a 100-hour service on the 920. So I'm going to work on trying to do a review for the 920 here before long. Just my thoughts of all the hours that I've got on it and my opinion of the mower. So definitely a quality machine, but we'll get that posted up at some point. And I hope you enjoyed this little video here of the maintenance on these two mowers. And let me know what you think. Your thoughts, anything that you may have done. If you've got a similar mower to either one of these and there's a certain trick that you do to certain things, feel free, let me know. Put it in the comments. So comment down below. Like and subscribe if you hadn't already. Again, I appreciate everybody who's already subscribed to the channel. I appreciate everybody that's watching, taking the time out, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.